The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by Mosaic, your Lightroom photos automatically on every device and backed up, and by ShootProof, the easy way to proof and sell your photos online.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Curran and Joseph Christina as they chat about the art and business of photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 98. I'm Joseph Christina here with my co-host Trevor Curran. On last week's episode 97, we talked about which social networks are stripping your photos metadata, Photoshop Touch for the iPad mini, and fantastic Google Voice and Skype phone hack for easier client interaction. If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com, in iTunes, listen with the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox music apps, or watch in HD on TiVo.
So Joe, we are back. How's it going?
I'm doing well, a little bit hoarse, but that's okay. We're going to push through it.
Yeah,
we actually have cold weather
Arctic
in Florida
weather down there in Florida.
Yeah, Arctic. Yes. Yeah, and it's killing me, because we're used to like 150% humidity, where you just sweat in a second, and now it's like it's dry air and actually cold. It was like in the 40s. So we're definitely not prepared for that. So anyways, how's everything over there?
Everything's going good. You know what? We had quite a few emails come in this week and messages on Facebook and stuff. So,
okay.
In last week, in reference to the social network stripping out your metadata conversation, Tony B actually left a message for us on our Facebook page. And he actually was doing some testing himself. And, he was using a Flickr Pro account. And he was noticing that the metadata was there and everything. And I had commented back and saying that the test showed that they were using the Flickr free account.
Right.
So he went back and tested it again with a free account. And he did confirm that on screen, the metadata is there. The EXIF data and stuff is there. Right. But in the download, it wasn't there.
Exactly. And that, I know in the past I've talked about putting like a little portfolio together and putting it up for people to see and but just a few pictures, not a lot. And right. the idea of having your metadata stripped is really problematic because you can very easily end up with orphan work.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it's so good when the listeners kind of confirm stuff, or even if we're wrong, please let us know. Keep that interaction coming because it really helps us out a lot. But we also heard from another a girl that called that actually wrote in also, I think it was on Facebook, about losing images, right?
Well, she came through on Twitter, and actually it's funny, this was in reference to a guest post that you did on Current Photographer a while back about using Facebook as a portfolio solution. Right. And she had replied to the tweet saying that it's great until Facebook loses some of your images. And in her case, it was like 15,000 images, like a year's worth of images. And
that's not a portfolio.
No, that's not a portfolio.
That is a Flickr stream. Using a Flickr Pro account. That's I could see that's problematic. I mean, okay, so Facebook basically just takes all 15,000 pictures down, a whole year's worth I'm guessing without her knowledge. I mean, I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
In the highest degree, because, even let's just make believe she was using it for business. Let's just make believe. Maybe she's not. Some of those pictures might have been pictures of her kids, right? And, many times we're out, out and about or out of vacation, and we have all different folders, and some of the folders can only be seen by certain folks, and they're personal too, during that year. She could have pictures of her kids or very important photographs that are now lost, and they're lost forever. Because she thought that they were there, because a lot of people do that with their photos and they don't back them up. They think they're up there in the ether, they're up there in the cloud, and they can never, they'll never lose them. They can get them from anywhere, and that's not the case. And here's a perfect example: 15,000 images. Yeah. Now, if they were iPhone photos and they're like 300K or 200K or less, I could say, okay, well, that's still a lot. But now imagine if they were
like DSLR photos, higher res photos. Yeah.
2 meg, 3 meg photos. What does that come into? Like 15 to 20 gigs of photos. I mean, I can see it being a problem, but regardless, I don't think Facebook.
Well, you know what? There's a couple issues that is going on here. Now, I don't know her full story. It was, again, 140 characters in Twitter. So how much of a full story can you get?
Yeah.
But one would, let's make some assumptions that, 15,000 photos is not traditionally what individual people do on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I did put out the question, were these 15,000 images on your Facebook page or your personal profile? And she did reply that they were on her profile, which leads me to question, okay, were these images personal images, or were the personal profile being used for business? Now, Facebook has pretty strict terms of use and with their site, and that personal profiles are not supposed to be used for business purposes. Right. And I know many photographers do, because of the advantages of tagging and, connecting with your clients or what have you as friends on Facebook, as opposed to just fans on your Facebook page. I get that.
We know very large photographers today that are doing that, and they've been doing it for years, and Facebook doesn't say a peep. But I'm going to say that chances are there's some kind of bit flag that got turned on when she hit a very large number of either, let's say, data, or of the just sheer numbers of photos, video, whatever it is. Right. And that probably said, well, we need to have a human take a look at this. And that's probably what happened. A human went, took a look at it and said, yeah, no, this is going against our terms of use. And bloom, it's gone. And they do have very strict terms. The idea that you can't use it for business when everyone does anyways, I think they turn like the cheek on it. They don't really enforce it unless something is just blatant or stand
something
out,
raises a red flag. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they know it's being done. They know people are using personal profiles for business. They know that. They discourage it. They try to make things a little bit more difficult for you with that. They try and give you other incentives for using a Facebook page. Each has its pros and cons. But yeah, I would have to believe that probably a human looked at this and was under the impression that this account could potentially be being used for business. That's a violation of their terms. Rather than suspending the account like they could, they just removed the images. So again, I don't know the full story. I may be speaking out of turn, but nonetheless, it's something to definitely be aware of for those of you who are using Facebook profiles, your personal profile for business. Definitely think twice about it, reconsider it, try and migrate your friends over to your Facebook page,
into a page,
do your interaction there, just be on the safe side. I mean, I would hate to see Facebook pull down your personal profile, years of work, years of connections, network building and stuff, because you're violating their TOS. So,
right. And let me qualify this whole and kind of get back to the article that I wrote a while back in regards of using Facebook as a portfolio, not as a sole portfolio, but as a source to put your images. So let me qualify that with just something just quick, 1 minute. If you're going to put together a portfolio, and let's say you are an eclectic photographer and you do commercial and you do product and you do events and you do, all of this portraits, you shouldn't have more than 5-10 pictures of each specific one, and they should be your absolute very best. Right. You don't show anything that could be slightly not your best. And as the years progress, you will become a better photographer and you'll do better work. Take off some of the old stuff and put in new. You should not have a portfolio over, let's say, 50 images, and that's a lot.
No, that's a lot. I mean, if you're breaking out in genres, I mean, I could definitely see 50 images. But if you were strictly a wedding photographer, that's what you do. I mean, you really don't need more than 10 different images at most.
Right. Yeah, you don't need more. No. So, and then back to qualifying this, that should be one place to put it, but you should also have your portfolio on Google Plus. You should have it in a Twitter, or out there on Flickr, let's say a Flickr Pro account. You should have it on your own website so you don't lose the pictures ever, because that is your hub for all of your work. So you should have it everywhere to be seen, and not just specific. So let me just I just want to make that perfectly clear. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got another email this week from Chris Schuler So he says, hi, guys. Love your show. I've gleaned quite a bit of info from you guys.
Thanks,
Thank you. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. He says, my only problem is that I found you too late. Is there an easier way to access your earlier podcasts? The only way I can seem to access them is to keep refreshing at the bottom of the page, and that will take forever to get through all the shows. Thank you, and keep up the great work.
We fixed that, didn't we?
Yeah, again, it's one of those things that, you don't necessarily think about all the time. It's like we're thinking like, all the shows are on our website, but navigating all of the shows, and for somebody new coming in that wants to go back and listen to the past 90 plus shows,
right?
God bless.
Right.
It just wasn't easy to do. So
there's a plugin for that.
There's a plugin for that. Yes. So what we did is we set up a page on our website. When you come to digitalphotographycafe.com, look at the top navigation. There'll be a nav button that says past shows. You can click on that and it will give you a listing of all of our shows ongoing.
And what's nice too is it has the date next to the show and an excerpt from the show. So it'll be very nice that you can actually go to that page, do a find and type in a specific word, and chances are you'll probably find it, and you can probably get down right to the show that you're looking for.
Yep.
And that is probably even a better way than doing the search function through WordPress, right?
Yeah.
It'll be great for Google too. They'll be able to find all the shows quickly on one page, and we know Google loves that, kind of centralize everything, so them just spidering everywhere. So
yep, that's right.
But anyway, so Google Keep is out, right? Really kind of interesting product from Google, right?
Yeah, this kind of goes along with our previous show where we talked all about the apps, and we were talking about the Reminders app and the Clear app that you use.
Yeah.
And this is kind of along the same lines. It's a way to jot down ideas, to take some quick notes or whatever. You can use it for a checklist. You can even include photos, which is pretty cool.
Right.
And what's really great about it is the notes that you put in this are actually stored in the cloud through Google Drive. So if you have your Google account, it's synced with Google Drive, it'll be synced with all your devices. It's really pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like that whole, cross-platform syncing, cross-device syncing, just, everything, all your notes in one location that, you can get them from anywhere, from any device. I just love that. That's great.
Yep. And another cool little feature, which the iPhone does and the Android phones do, is voice dictation or transcription. Right. So if you have a note that you want to leave, you're kind of thinking about something, but maybe you're driving or what have you, you could do the voice feature, and it'll actually transcribe it into the note. So it's pretty cool.
It does a mediocre job at it at best,
well,
but that's
all this
okay.
Transcription stuff does,
At least you can go back and you'll kind of get the idea of what you're trying to say, and you can do some editing after the fact. So we also saw a brand new look from Pinterest, which is kind of cool. I actually like it.
Yeah, it's good. Again, they've kind of updated things there, and they made some new discovery features to the close-up views of your pins.
That's important. It's very hard sometimes to find stuff that you're looking for.
Yep.
And by them, it's basically almost like recommendations, right?
Yeah, exactly.
An easy way to find stuff. So.
Yeah, it's an easier way to find stuff. So, now you can see pins from the same board, so you can explore the entire board without leaving the page that you're on, which is really nice. You got pins from the same source, which is interesting. You've got other pins from the same website. So if you found something interesting in one of the boards from a website, you could see other things from that same website that were pinned. So it's a great way of connecting more information.
Yeah, and like Texas, bigger is better, right?
Yeah.
So they have the larger pins, which is kind of cool. I like that. It just looks nice. They did good. We always say this: UI. The user interface, that whole interaction with the user. The simpler, the better. That's why I just absolutely love that app Clear, just because of the user interface. It's just interface is stellar. And the same thing with any of these online. Google needs to figure this out. Their interface, I would say, is clunky. And at best, and it's a little bit, it feels more like alpha, some of these things, and less like beta, and but they're getting there. But interface is huge, and this is kind of nice. I do like the new look.
Yeah, and something else that I'm really interested in too is that when you find a pin, let's say you're scrolling through a whole list of stuff, you find something you want, to look at, you click on it, it opens the other screen, you look at it, and then you click back, you go back, and it brings you back. It would bring you back to like the top of your list. Now it will actually bring you back into the list where you left off. So just from a navigation standpoint, it makes life a lot easier.
That's huge.
Yeah,
yes.
Looks good.
All the difference in the world, absolutely. So now we have Facebook once again. It's kind of in the talking points. Rolling out new things, new items, ranking. Ranked comments and threading. And all kinds of other stuff for public figures.
Yeah, it's for pages and public figures. So this is interesting. Facebook makes a comment system plugin that you can actually use for your WordPress site. And basically it gives you threaded comments. So you could put up a comment, somebody could reply to the comment down below it, somebody could reply to that, somebody else posts a new comment, and it's threaded. It's all indented.
Love that. Yes.
Well, on your Facebook page timeline, it doesn't work that way. If somebody leaves a comment and you want to reply back to them, you actually have to mention their name, put the @ symbol, start typing their name. That way they see the message in their notifications, which is kind of ridiculous that you would have to do that. Or worse yet, you reply to somebody's comment, you don't put the @ symbol in front of their name to tag them, and they never see your message. It goes unread. So that's a real problem. So this new threaded system is great, and now they're ranking it. So the more people that like or reply to comment, or what have you, it will actually raise it to the top as opposed to it getting buried in the bottom. And I know like George Takei, he's hugely popular on Facebook. He's got like millions of fans, and he puts up a lot of fun stuff. And you know what? People are constantly trolling his Facebook page, leaving nasty comments, saying things. Well, with this ranking system, those types of comments will be dropped to the bottom, and the quality comments will be brought to the top. Which
they definitely are starting to get it right, which is good. I mean, threading, the whole idea of a bulletin board or a BBS is what it used to be back in the 80s. I mean, we used to have that. I ran a bulletin board for many years, but I just thinking about it, I mean, this type of threading and this whole way that bulletin boards work with threads have been around for years, 20 years, 10, 15, 20 years. It's like why it takes so long for these huge guys to just implement something that is just so helpful. It's just odd to me. But yeah, this is big, and it's going to help out a lot for kind of meandering through and actually looking at a specific comment and looking at comments on the comments, so to speak, in comparison to looking down an entire timeline of stuff. So very cool. I love it.
So really they're saying that they're going to be rolling this out, and the people who are going to get it will have to have 10,000 fans or followers. Now, something interesting though, I was actually just on the Current Photographer Facebook page this morning, and I did get a message saying, enable comment replies. Right. And I've got like 3,800 or something like that fans. So that was kind of odd. So I don't know if maybe it's an intermittent thing. Maybe it's based on interaction. I don't know exactly what. It just seemed odd that I would get that option. So I did click it, but it doesn't seem to be taking effect. I don't know. So I think it's, again, part of Facebook's beta stage with this whole thing.
Yeah. It's they're stumbling through it, but it'll get there eventually. Yeah. So we saw also that YouTube finally hits 1 billion monthly users. If you take that into consideration, you're looking at the roughly 10 Super Bowl audiences. That is what they get, every month.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts.
It's a lot of people. Oh my God.
It's nuts. Yeah, they gave a couple little bullet points in the post that says, what does 1 billion people tuning into YouTube look like? And they say nearly 1 out of every 2 people on the internet visit YouTube. I mean, that's nuts. Yeah, and the size of roughly 10 Super Bowls. I mean, that's crazy.
I love it.
And if YouTube were a country, we'd be the 3rd largest in the world after China and India.
It's just amazing. It's amazing. Well, I tell you what, Trev, we need to go ahead and take a break. So let's go ahead and take a quick listen and view, I guess, of a few of our sponsors. Hang in there, guys.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener. From phones, tablets, laptops, and PCs, these days photographers use multiple internet-connected devices.
Have you ever wished you could view your Lightroom images, folders, collections, and metadata from any of these devices? Now you can.
Mosaic Storage Systems has created Mosaic View, an application that gives you access to your images without exporting or using a publishing service.
Mosaic also offers Mosaic Archive, which directly integrates with Lightroom as a powerful cloud backup solution.
Mosaic gives photographers access to all of their images from anywhere on virtually any device.
Try Mosaic View today for free and access 2,000 of your most recent images.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, Mosaic is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans.
Go to mosaicarchive.com and use coupon code DPCafe at checkout.
Mosaic. Lightroom, anywhere, any device, secure, backed up. As photographers, we're always trying to increase sales and profits after every event.
We shoot an event and have hundreds or even thousands of images that just sit on our hard drives.
Perhaps a better workflow would increase sales by getting those valuable images in front of the client.
That's where ShootProof comes in. At shootproof.com, you can have an online gallery for all of your clients' proofing needs.
ShootProof helps increase profits while building your brand and securing your photos without charging commission fees on sales.
ShootProof galleries display your photos beautifully while helping to streamline your workflow and automate more of your business through their intuitive studio control panel.
Once approved, photos can be directly fulfilled through ShootProof's various professional lab partners or fulfilled by you.
All ShootProof plans have the same feature set. You simply choose the number of client photos stored, decide what products to sell, and the price.
Try ShootProof today by taking advantage of their free 30-day trial offer.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, ShootProof is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans by using promo code DPC20 at checkout.
ShootProof. Upload, share, sell, print. All right, so Joe, we are back. And, you know, the holidays are rolling up here. We got Easter right around the corner. By the time everybody's listened to this, Easter will be passed. But there's a lot of holiday events and activities going on right now. And I know you've been really busy shooting a lot of this stuff, huh?
Yeah, I do, I do events as they come. So we do large galas with, 500, 800 people to smaller events to everything in between. And right now we have Passover. So that's, really big right now. And we're doing a lot of big events for Passover. And yeah, it kind of just, it got me thinking a little bit about, what I've seen with other photographers and what I do and, what I've learned over the last, 20 years. So I kind of want to discuss it with everyone, kind of, throw it out there, so to speak. So, the idea of doing events or even just shooting anything, the idea of knowing the client, knowing the venue, and being respectful and not being that photographer, that photographer that's, they have that mindset that I have a job to do. I have to get these photos and I'm just going to, walk over dead bodies to get them.
Yeah, we've all seen that, I'm sure.
It really doesn't get you anywhere. So, thinking about, for example, like I do some luxury parties where, there's celebrities, there is dignitaries, there's, the mayor, there's people at these parties that, respect of the photographer really goes a long way. So, in these type of situations, obviously, the first thing that you really need to do is you really need to know, who can be photographed and who can't be. That's very, very important.
And hopefully the person who's hiring you clues you into this ahead of time so you can be aware of the guests and what protocol is.
Exactly. And then, of course, where you can photograph and where you can't,
Yep.
what you can photograph and what you can't. And so what does that even mean? So sometimes we'll do parties just recently we did a party in a home that had, no one knows about it, but basically, let's say, Seurat and Picasso, and it ends up being a location where a lot of famous artwork ends up.
Sure.
It's almost like a conservatory. So this house has like 15 air conditioned systems. It's got, climate control. It's got, it's unbelievable. It's on the water. And when you go to a party there, everyone has little earpieces in. There's security everywhere.
It's like the Secret Service.
Basically what it is. So, it's one of those things that, you have like 80, 100 people there, their closest friends and famous folks and whatnot. You need to be able to know what you could photograph, what you can't. Some locations of the home you can't photograph. Some walls you can't photograph because it has specific artwork.
Sure, it's got artwork on it.
And it's just people, really don't want that out in the public of what is in there. So, obviously for security reasons. So it's very important to really know and to ask before. Don't go in there and just willy-nilly the thing. Ask before.
Absolutely.
What you
just
can
ask
photograph.
them, say, are there any areas of the home off limits for shooting? And see what they say. I mean, they may say, oh, no, it's fine, whatever, but they very well may have restrictions, and that's always good to know.
Yeah. And then you have, your huge galas. Like, for example, the idea of shooting a gala, you need to know, obviously, what photographs you're trying to get. Are you shooting for a magazine? Are you shooting for, some type of other publication? Are you shooting for the newspaper? Be aware of what you are shooting. And then, like you were saying before, we really need to have a shot list. If you don't have a shot list, you're going to be, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I do some galas, like I said, 500 to 800 people, and I do it with a single assistant. Also you can find out if the venue will provide you with a liaison. I almost always get a liaison when I work these type of shoots because the liaison, can help it's multifaceted.
Yeah,
Number
well,
one,
and that liaison can help you with that shot list and say, okay, we need to make sure we have a photo of so-and-so, for this publication or what have you. And that can really, help make your job easier as well.
Absolutely. And, many times the different publications, they need a specific photo of someone, but with someone else.
Right.
Or a group. Let's say the mayor with the person, one of the sponsors of it, or maybe the mayor with or whoever, an actor with so-and-so.
Sure. And
so
you need somebody to coordinate that. You as the photographer is not going to be able to go up to the mayor and say, oh, mayor, I need to get a shot with you and so-and-so.
Right. I mean, I do it on a regular basis, but the idea of having someone just helps a lot. The other part of it too is if you're shooting for a publication or you're shooting a magazine, whatever it is, you need to have your right to lefts, your left to rights. You need to have the names of the parties that are going to be in the picture and associate it with the image number. If you're trying to do that, you're on your own. Is never going to happen. So, if it's the first time you ever shot one of these, keep these things in mind, and it's going to be a lot easier on you. Another thing that you should keep in mind also is landscape or portrait. Some magazines, some papers.
Yep.
Absolutely. Some everything is landscape. Some everything is portrait because it's, in that specific, the way they design their magazine or paper.
Right.
So, no, the best thing to do, what I have done in the past is shoot both. And that's what we've talked in the past about using a bracket. It just makes it super simple to shoot one in landscape, one in portrait, and be gone in like the matter of seconds in comparison to playing with your flash, rotating your flash so it's not pointing crooked and whatever.
Right.
So
right.
Very, very easy. So, the other thing that we've been doing lately, a lot of is fashion shows because now, you just had Fashion Week. You have a lot of different things that go on anywhere from New York all the way down to Florida. So I usually work East Coast. Fashion shows are a different, I guess, gem.
Yeah.
they're because you're actually shooting not only for the venue, you're shooting for the fashion designer, you're shooting for the publications.
Yep.
And the idea of getting the right shot goes back to a shot list, but it also, you need to be creative about it, because if you're doing some type of fashion show, most of the time you'll get thrown into what is called the pit. And in the pit, you'll have, 50 other, hopefully not, but usually stinky photographers. And, they're all crowding around.
Sure, and they're all there shooting for other publications or...
And you have like this much real estate.
Yeah.
You're crunched in. So, the idea of doing the fashion shows, I'll give you a quick tip, is try to get there a couple hours early, get to know the people, see if you can get some behind the scenes stuff, see if you can get some shots of the venue that the other guys that just sit in the pit all day will not have. And that will set you out, from the rest. Like I always said, mediocrity is dead. Be stellar or be nothing.
Yep.
You need to do something that is stellar and not just mediocre, just like more of the same. We don't need more of the same. There's too many, Uncle Bucks and Uncle Bobs out there shooting, good, maybe even better DSLRs than you have.
Right.
So you really need to set yourself apart. So, get those pre-show photos and whatnot. And, back to the idea of respect. Like I said, lately we've been doing a lot of, weddings that come in. I only do like the really high-end weddings now. I don't do any of the smaller ones, but we do a lot of, special events. Like maybe it's a bar mitzvah. That's a really big one. Or right now we have Jewish, the Seders. So you have Jewish Passovers going on now.
Right.
The idea of being respectful for these type of events where you're dealing with, religion.
Yeah,
is
that's critical.
so important, right?
Yeah. That's critical. I mean, you really need to know when you can shoot, when you can't shoot. And if you're not of the same religion, you may not know the ceremony. You may not know the procedures. And if you are going to be out there doing these types of shoots, you really got to learn. You got to know, when to shoot, when to hold them and when to fold them, I guess.
That's right. A lot of the wedding, let's say you do a wedding in a church. Can you use flash? Can you not use flash?
Right.
If you don't know, find out. It's a very simple question. Camera positioning. Where can you put the cameras?
Yeah.
Remember, some very, very extremely orthodox religion that, you cannot go, let's say, up on the altar and take a shot from behind. Which would be the front of the bride and groom. That is sacred. You cannot go on the altar at all. So know that.
And what? Noise as well. I mean, we know the shutters in these cameras are so damn loud. And if you've got a moment in the church where it's very quiet and everybody's praying and stuff, and all of a sudden you hear clack, 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 people aren't going to be happy about that.
No, absolutely. That happens. I've seen that actually come into play on a couple of times in temples where they'll say, yes, during service, we'll allow photography, on a Thursday, let's say it's a bar mitzvah or something, whereas normally it's not, but you need to be back there.
Right.
You need to be all the way back
end,
there. So, you're sitting with a 400 millimeter with an extender. You're shooting no flash because flash at that point is useless. And you need to know the ceremony so you know when things will stop to get decent images because you're dragging the shutter in there.
Right.
But, you need to know this stuff. It's very, very important. And it sets you apart. Like you said, this might not be your religion, but it doesn't matter. You need to know it. Do your research, do your due diligence, and know what you're shooting. If you don't know, ask. You can't be that person that says, shoot now and then ask for forgiveness later, because what will happen is you will basically just, shoot yourself in the foot and you'll be kind of out of business because trust me.
Yeah, you won't get the work again. And this is the case. I mean, if you're venturing into new territory that you don't know about, then maybe it's a good idea to try and assist another photographer with experience so you can kind of learn the ropes of shooting in those situations. There's only so much you can learn online. Of course, if you have friends of different religions, you can talk to them, get information about that, maybe attend some ceremonies as guests so you can get an understanding of what's going on, what the procedures are. But yeah, when venturing in uncharted waters here, definitely do your homework.
Yep. Absolutely. Do your due diligence. I guess that's why you guys are listening to the show. Hopefully we give you a little bit of, behind the scenes tidbits and stuff that you can use for different things that are going on in your, photography careers, either if it's advanced or you're just starting.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll get something out of it, but kind of to round robin a little bit. The bottom line is, it all comes down to respect and being prepared. Do your due diligence and be the respectful photographer. In the long run, you're going to get a lot more referrals. You're going to be called back to that venue ongoingly, and it will turn into your B&B, your bread and butter. So, that, as I think, of course, I'm running long once again here, but yeah, hopefully some of that rant helps you guys out. But we really need to get out of here.
Yeah, we do. But, before we sign off here, we do just want to say to everybody, we mentioned last week our 100th show is now 2 shows away, and we'd really like to hear from you. As we mentioned, we have a new Google Voice phone number that we set up, and we would love to have you guys call in, give us your well wishes for the 100th, and be sure to, obviously mention your name, mention your web address, and we'd like to play it on the show. And in the video, we'll even pull up your website on screen, show a couple pieces of your work while your message is being played. So you can just simply dial 440-345-6707. And we bobbled that number last week, but
yes,
we got it in the notes this week.
One way or another, we got it. Yeah, that's a great number. 440-345-6707.
That's right. That's right. Works
Very
well.
simple.
All right, so we are out of here. So Joe, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way?
Find me on Twitter. That's at Joseph Christina, and that's Christina without an H.
Great. And you guys can connect with me on Twitter. It's at Trevor Current.
All right, guys, we are out of here. You can get show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/98. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star review in iTunes. Help spread the word through Twitter. And now, once again, you can give us a call through our new comment line, all by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/love. So keep your questions and comments coming, and we'll see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Current and Joseph Christina. Be sure to subscribe to the show for free in iTunes or through RSS. You can also listen on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio and watch in HD on TiVo. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.